God, Charlie. Charlie Kirk, oh my God. Oh no, my God.
This is such bullshit. I've never been so pissed in my whole life. And this murder Charlie Kirk right here in Utah. I'm so freaking pissed right now. This is bullshit. I just saw blood squirting out of his neck. I love that guy. He would have been our next president. I am so pissed right now. Why do they always come with fucking violence? Gosh damn it. Use your freaking words as they're talking to you people. Who shot Charlie Kirk? I'm driving down a Provo right now. I'm so pissed. Damn it.
Yo, so we back in here for another edition of F-ya-Motha, and this is the continuation of the Charlie Kirk case. Of course, everybody knows that I think he's a fucking scumbag. I did a couple videos about him. His team, or somebody that controls his page, his channel on YouTube, took a video of mine down because I used their content, but it was doing commentary of the bullshit that he said. Now, although I think he's a racist scumbag, I think I stated before that I don't think anybody should be killed for some shit they say. However, my man said a bunch of disparaging shit. He mocked George Floyd's death. He said that the fentanyl killed him. He said Breonna Taylor was with a thug, and that's why she got shot. He criticized several other black people that were shot, that were unarmed and shot by the police. And like I said yesterday, when I looked into his background, I found out he was 31. So nigga was like a decade younger than me. And now that I'm 42, niggas that are like 10 years younger than me, 10, 20 years younger than me, I see them as like sons, right? Or younger men. And it allowed me to actually realize how much I've grown, because listening to some of the shit that he said, he sounded foolish.
You are race obsessed. I am not race obsessed. Like, they're killing white people in the streets in South Africa. It's literally a mini white genocide. You see a black pilot, you wonder, boy, is that person there because they earned it or because they were placed there? What percentage of young blacks have both a mom and a dad raising them? Blacks in America. Black women married the government and divorced the men. Why do blacks have a broken family? Why is it that black America is one of the only populations, that and Native American populations, that have not been able to overcome such evil, horror, and injustices? Blacks commit more crimes than whites do. You talk about race more than the Grand Wizard of the KKK. Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
And I don't think I've ever said foolish shit. This man just might suffer from dumb white man syndrome, right? He was too full of himself. Now, while there were a few things that he was on the mark with, when it came to talking about black people, and ironically, he was gunned down mid-sentence talking about black gun violence in Chicago, which has nothing to do with him, which I found ironic considering he wasn't clapped by a black person. He was clapped by another white person. So while you're worried about black people and gun violence in Chicago, is ironic. However, here at F-ya-Motha, we believe that irony is not to be played out in real life. It's good in movies, plays, books, playwrights, but in real life, irony just comes across as fucked up. His whole death is tragic, and it's irony at its finest. I'm gonna actually make some t-shirts. They'll probably be up on my website. I'm gonna leave the link down in the description. Call them Kirk shirts, or don't get murked like Kirk. I'm still figuring it out, but there'll be t-shirts and hoodies which you can buy, which I'm not celebrating the man's death, but I am pointing out a fact that it was irony at its finest. And yeah, you shouldn't live out irony. Talking about black crime. Like, first of all, I never understand when people talk about other people with other races, like their plight affects you. Black crime that happens majorly 80% amongst each other has shit to do with white people. I remember going to Seattle and talking to white kids, and I say kids because they were like in their 20s and I was 35, talking about, oh, what about gun violence in Chicago? I'm starting to feel like gun violence in Chicago is code word for niggas. And I had to tell this one dude, okay, if black people commit 51% of the crime in America, which we don't, it's a mathematical impossibility, but I digress. And not even me, according to the Federal Bureau of Investigation's Index of Crimes in America, that's not even true. I don't know who the fuck started that stat, but I had to tell them, what the fuck does that got to do with like black people in Seattle? Motherfucker, I don't live in Chicago. But fuck all that. I'm gonna run down a list of maybe a few. It's like 20, but I'm gonna run down a list of anti-black Charlie Kirk quotes. He says, "Prowling blacks go around for fun to target white people." That's a fact. That's actually not a fact. If I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Why the fuck would he not be? You gotta log so many hours. You have to do, like, there's specialized training that doctors and pilots have to do. The fact that he thinks that a pilot is just flying a fucking plane like he got hired like it was McDonald's is beyond me. Then you got right here, George Floyd was a scumbag. He said this after George Floyd was dead, right? Which was fucked up because his family was still mourning him, no matter if he was a crackhead that was convicted of past crimes. Then you got right here, MLK was just a man, a very flawed one at that, a mythological anti-racist creation of the 1960s. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but this sounds fucked up. Anti-racist creation. He was an actual person. Talking about a mythological anti-racist. Yeah, you should be anti-racist. Like, fuck planet this dude grew up on. The Great Replacement is not a theory, it's a reality. I don't know what that means. Nobody's replacing anybody. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, the person just couldn't be a moronic woman. It had to be a moronic black woman. He had to specify that. I wonder, is she there because of her excellence or is she there because of affirmative action? Leaders won't do what is necessary, which is arresting black criminals. That sounds fucked up because they could just be criminals. See, a lot of people get it fucked up. They think they're not racist. But then the fact that you have to specify the person's race makes it even more egregious and fucked up. They said black crime is a major issue in our country. Yeah, not gun violence, not inflation, not the cost of living, homelessness, opioid epidemic, which happens in primarily white neighborhoods, but you know, never let logic get in the way of a good scam. And it says right here, what is the real problem? Exactly, the real problem is that black fathers abandon the women that they impregnate. That's actually not true. We just don't live with the bitches, man. Unless you're a fucking Protestant white Anglo-Saxon Protestant Christian, I don't think you necessarily have to live with the mother of your children. I think if you have kids, as long as you're in the same fucking city and you can actually share duties with the child, no harm, no foul. Black men just aren't marrying the women they're having kids with, which is still problematic slightly. However, for a motherfucker to say that black fathers are abandoning women and their children, how the fuck does he know? That's another thing. How the fuck do white people know what the fuck goes on in black communities? Like the nigga just had a baby and just left the bitch. Now I'm assuming that does happen, but I'm a black person. I've been in the black community my whole life. I ain't never known some cousins, family members that just dipped off. And that's like trying to tell a lion how it is in a lion's den. How the fuck you know? You ain't even there. Said Black Lives Matter wants to fan the flames of a race war in our country. This is outright threat of full frontal domestic terrorism in our country. It's actually not. Once again, Charlie Kirk suffered from dumb white man syndrome, so there's that. BLM Incorporated leader drove through the holiday parade And Waukesha, I don't, the dude that drove through a parade was black, but I don't know what the fuck that had to do with Black Lives Matter. The alleged Waukesha attacker was a black supremacist terrorist. There's no such thing as a black supremacist. The people like him like to deflect and want to make there's such mythical thing as black supremacists. We don't run the country, sir. We're not like majority of people that's in politics. That's white men. Juneteenth threatens the fabric of our country. Another DWS case of this guy. Juneteenth should not be a federal holiday. I didn't even know he said that. We should not be like, you're acting like Trayvon. You're a Shaniqua. Another racist trope about Yusef Salaam of the Central Park Five. He once took part in the gruesome gang rape of a jogger. Central Park after getting away with rape. That's actually not true, and they were actually exonerated after years of being in prison. So he sounds like Donald Trump back in 1989. But even that, like, this nigga's 31. How the fuck do you know what was happening in 1989? You weren't even, I don't even think he was old enough to, he was like 2 or 3. Affirmative action does not address the real problem: black crime, black fathers abandoning their children. Black crime is a huge problem. No one wants to talk about it. We actually do talk about it, and black crime is not as much of a problem as any other crime. Like, we just gonna act like black people do all the crime, white people ain't doing shit, right? And then we got right here, the shooter. It says FBI released photo of person interest in connection with Charlie Kirk shooting. It looked like Steve-O shot his ass. And before I started talking, you had some goddamn buck dancing, biscuit eating ass tether morning, and then you had another clear man having a fucking meltdown about Charlie Kirk, like he was his father or some shit. A lot of these other commentators like Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, Richard Spencer, Myron Gaines, I don't even know what he be having like racist talking points, and he black as hell, but once again, never let logic get in the way of a good scam. A lot of these guys might want to rethink their speaking engagements. I know Myron does the same thing. That
I actually had a debate set up for tomorrow in Asheville, North Carolina.
Are you still going to go to your event? Or are you going to cancel it?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised.
Myron, you gotta cancel it, bro.
I would advise to cancel it because
cancel it.
Myron, cancel it. Cancel it. Can't be doing this anymore. You can't put yourself at risk. You have to cancel it.
especially in the near
Also, out
future.
of respect, out of respect for the guy, as in mourning, also.
Charlie Kirk does. So does Ben Shapiro and Steven Crowder. So might want to tighten up security there. You'll end up like your boy. And then he was hypercritical of George Floyd, so I figure it's only fitting that I actually put up a picture. He gets to meet him. They both are the Pearly Gates or the Charlie Gates, or they get to meet each other, right? And he can explain his viewpoints to George Floyd. You know what I'm saying? And then we got right here Amanda Seals.
I can't have empathy for someone like Charlie Kirk. First of all, Charlie Kirk don't believe in empathy.
I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage. But
he said it's a bad thing. He said it's some New Age made-up shit. He also said people got to be sacrificed in order to protect guns. If he was saying that while fighting for reparations, I may have a little bit of empathy. But this white on white violence, he died? Damn, B. Life comes at you fast. I can't have empathy for someone like Charlie Kirk because I cannot be in his shoes. I have no frame of reference for that. I have no cognizance for that. There literally is nothing about his existence that I can relate to. So I don't have any.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal.
Well, I always did believe that to make an omelet, you got to crack some eggs, and I didn't think he would sign up to be one of the fucking eggs, but, you know, what do I know? I'm just a nigga from Ohio. In any event, none of this is to disparage his family. I'm not rejoicing in his death. I am laying out the facts. You can like it or love it, but it is what it is. That's not to say that Kirk should have got murked, but you can't expect to go around saying stuff like this and nothing happened, right? You have to be very wary and mindful of the things that you say in public, because there's such thing as like cosmic and karmic energy, whatever you believe in, right? I'm just here to drop knowledge of science, whatever you into. In any event, that's all I got. This is the update or the follow-up, because there was a lot of people saying that, oh, you shouldn't feel sorry for him and blah blah blah, and I don't feel sorry. However, I was in a space that wasn't really that positive, and as a fellow YouTuber, I also had somebody saying that, oh, Charlie Kirk's not a YouTuber, you are. He is. They said he's a fucking activist. I don't know what he's an activist for, right? The GOP, the good old party, what the fuck that means. He's a fucking YouTuber. They had a fucking show and got funding to spew racist rhetoric. For all you jackasses out there that want to dick eat, I'm gonna put that out there. But yeah, people were saying that I was going soft and that I was mourning the races, and I wasn't mourning the races. I was just stating the fact that as a fellow YouTuber, you should be able to say what you want without getting gunned down. And as despicable as the stuff that he was saying, I don't believe he should have got gunned down. However, the fact that he did take care of one less problem in America. Now we don't have to hear stupidity on a massive level, because let's not get it fucked up. He was spewing stupid shit. And now I don't know if it was because of his age. I don't know if it was because he was able to have white blinders on. I don't know nothing. What I do know is he with Jesus now. That's one less headache we got to listen to or worry about. And also, he was a big critic of black crime. Now he don't got to worry about black crime. He should have been worried about white crime. I'm just going to throw that one out there, because it wasn't Chicago gang members in proximity. It wasn't nothing but a bunch of Mormons in the crowd. He was in the whitest city in America. So the fact that this happened, yeah, it speaks volumes, bro. Sometimes you just got to know when to shut the fuck up. And however, you do have the Second Amendment right, but I don't think it should be like extended for you to spew hateful rhetoric, right? If you don't like a certain people, stay away from them. I can't say that there's a certain group of people I don't like, but if there were, like, I would stay the fuck away from them, right? I use common sense, right? But common sense ain't too common. People of other races, ethnicities, and backgrounds, for the life of me, I can't understand why they, like, in the words of Tupac, why they be having a motherfucker opinion. Whenever I see one of these commentators, they're talking about black crime, it perplexes me, because it's like, one, you don't live near, ain't a nigga in sight where you live at. That's one. Two, you don't interact with black people. You don't get money with them. They're not in your family. What the fuck are you talking about us for, right? I could see if the black crime was affecting him. He was, I'm assuming, because he was mildly famous and had benefactors, that he was probably nowhere near disadvantaged inner city black people. So the fact that he made it his life's mission at 31 to be talking about the ills of the black community when he's not even in proximity of black people, yeah, I always thought that was fucking weird. Like, you see my podcast, I may scratch the surface or mention my people and topics here and there. They're not the focal point of what I talk about. Mainly, if you notice, you look closely, I talk mostly about politics, hip hop culture, street culture, entertainment, I don't even really do a lot of videos on race because it's not that fucking, to me, entertaining. So the fact that he made it his life's mention, and even like ironically was gunned down talking about black people and gun violence in Chicago when that wasn't even a fucking question. The question was, what does he think about gun violence in America? He could have talked about mass shootings that happen primarily with people that look like him in his community or white society. The fact that he mentioned black people, it's like, yeah, bro, you wasn't doing the right shit with your time. Find something to fucking talk about. You know what I'm saying? How about he could have made it his life's mention and talk about corrupt politicians, the mismanaging of funds and money in America. These are the things he could have been talking about. You know what I'm saying? The Epstein files. What else? He could have been talking about just corruption in America by politicians and how they pass these bullshit laws and get away with it, and how Trump still ain't been named in an indictment in the Epstein files, right? These are the things that like you should pay attention to. When white folks be talking about black problems and you're not near a black person, it just begs me to wonder, like, what the fuck is, like, it sounds like an obsession. And I'm not even being facetious. I'm being like logically stating an obvious opinion. Clearly this man had some hard on for black people. It's sort of like the racist white cop. You ain't did shit that's arrestable, but he want to make it seem like because you got a broken tail light that you trafficking cocaine and shit throughout America, like you got to get snatched out the car, all types of dumb shit. That's how he came across. Like, he got a hard on for black people. And every time I came across his content on Twitter, I used to always be perplexed, like, bro, find some shit to talk about. But now, like I said, we ain't got to worry about him talking about nothing. He ain't gonna be talking, at least not here on Earth, no mo. Any event, if y'all like this episode, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm out.